Hello and welcome. I hope you're safe and well. Today's exciting episode is a FABRiC haul. Yay! It's just 10 cottons and they're lovely, but there's also at the end there will be an update on the jacket that I have been beading. I pulled some beads off, put some new ones on. It's perfect. Perfect jacket. The past few days I've spent all my sewing time doing beading, no actual sewing, so we are going to have a FABRiC haul, but FABRiC hauls are awesome anyway. So they are all cotton fabrics, lovely prints. Some of them are yarn dyed, so they're not actual technical prints. And I just sort of get some fabrics that I never get, so that was kind of the... And then after that, if you want to skip to if you're dying to know how my Mediterranean/Tempest jacket is going, skip to the end. Otherwise, let's get on with this FABRiC haul. So yeah, as I said, I just decided to, if you're wondering how I get them perfectly stacked when there's only a yard of most of these fabrics, I just put books in between them and it just gives a beautiful display. But anyway, so the first two fabrics, cotton prints, and it's actually the same design but in two different colorways. So this one is a creamy oatmeal color or grayish white with like blue flowers on it, and it's got sage in there. It's just lovely. And yeah, I thought it would look really good with silver and blue beads on there and some sort of mid-green ones. And I was thinking of making a Chanel style jacket out of this fabric and putting so it'll have this fabric and then bridal tulle over the top, and then I'm going to bead it. I'm not sure if you've seen the green one. It's got William Morris print quilting cotton that it's made out of, and then I put sage tulle over the top, and then I beaded it with emerald green bugle beads that have the silver on the inside, so they're nice and sparkly. And yeah, I made that about 15 years ago. It was one of the first jackets I made, and I love it. But it's like the only cotton Chanel style jacket that I have with the beading on it. So I want to make a couple more of them and just do the beading onto that. And I love this design, but I particularly like the honeysuckle flower in it. So I kind of like the blue and grey, silver grey one better, but you can't really see the honeysuckle in that, whereas you can in the other one. It's that halo flower if you've never seen it in real life. It's just got the most beautiful perfume. It's a really old-fashioned flower. And yeah, so that's why I got those two. So yeah, I'm looking forward to making those jackets because, yeah, I just don't have enough fabrics that I have to make into jackets. Anyway, the next ones are some yarn dye cottons. And, yeah, as I said, I'd never bought it. I don't have anything like these. And I just thought I'd get them because I love the colours. They're so nice and bright. So these ones are all 100% cotton. And then there's this other one. This one here, unfortunately, when I bought this, I thought it was also 100% cotton, but it's a polycotton blend. And so I'm going to have to use this one separately. I actually bought this, if you know my Barbie Learns to Code, like a billion years ago, like 2 years ago now, I think I did the beading for the Barbie Learns to Code jacket. So I'll find that video and put a card up here. But anyway, I don't have anything that, when I saw that fabric, I was like, oh my God, that would look so good if I made a simple dress out of that to, wear it with the Barbie Learns to Code jacket, because normally I just wear my jackets with t-shirt and jeans. Anyway, so that's why I bought it. And then when I got it and when I thought about it again, I was like, actually, I've got a lot of fabrics that are, have hot pink in them or black, and I could make add this as one of the layers for a layer cake dress. So yeah, maybe. We will see. Anyway, so there's 2 yards of it, so I will do something with it. It'll end up in some dress or other. And then next we have these yarn dyed ones, and that just means it's not printed on. They dye the white, like they bleach the white and then they dye the colourful one, and then they weave the fabric together. Anyway, so the orange one, I'll make one side of a summer jacket. I think I'll use that seahorse one, the leafy seahorse one in orange and hot pink for the other side. And these two, I think I'll use one of them and then use the other one in a skirt as a layer in a skirt for a layer cake dress. And yeah, so I only bought a yard of each, so it'll be a really thin layer. Anyway, this is the summer jacket that I was talking about. It's just got really vintage lines, and I think it would look beautiful because I've got enough fabrics to make like a reversible cotton jacket and a vintage style layer cake dress to go with it. So yeah. And this one here, I originally, as soon as I saw this, well, I have a tweed that's kind of similar, sort of, but it more reminded me of, if you know Angela Clayton on YouTube. She made this historical costume with this most amazing plaid silk, and she hasn't put any new videos up in like over a year now, but all her old ones are still there and they're fabulous. She goes antiquing with her mum like once a year or twice a year or something, and she films it. They're so good. You should definitely check out her channel if you haven't already done so. And yeah, so I just bought a yard of this, and I'm going to either make one of those summer reversible cotton jackets, or that was my initial thing. And then I was like, actually, if I made a tweed jacket out of this, like a Chanel style jacket out of this, and just beaded over everything, because I'm using these aqua glass beads at the moment, but I've still got a lot. Like whenever something's on sale, like it's an incredible bargain, I buy it, regardless of whether I've bought them in the past, 5 years ago or 2 years ago. I just buy more. So I have got an incredible amount of aqua beads and red beads. The other colors I tend to use up, but purple, aqua, and red, goodness, I've got so many of them. Anyway, so probably a Chanel style jacket with lots of structural layers and then loads of beading over the top. Second last one is just another yard of fabric, and I just thought the patterns were really cute in this. So it's pale pink flowers. They sort of look washed out and white, but they're actually pale pink. And these little leaf designs on a sort of deep red cherry base. And again, I think I'll just make a jacket out of it. The next fabric I show you is white and red. So yeah, so basically this jacket will go over the vintage dress. I've got a couple of other vintage dresses, and this would look perfect if I made a little bolero style jacket out of that. It would just go perfectly over them. This is the last fabric, and I bought 5 yards of this, and it's darling. As soon as I saw it, I was like, I want a vintage dress out of that. It's like boring enough that I'll be able to wear it, but it's cute enough that I'll love it, if you get what I mean. So if you've seen this fabric here, I think I had all up 10 yards of this fabric, and I used 8 yards. I had an 8-yard cut, and so each of these dresses are 4 yards each. One is vintage, so it's a bodice plus 3 tiers that are gathered, and the other one is a Empire line, that Simplicity Empire line one that was really popular this time last year. Anyway, so with this, I'm going to do a vintage style dress. So just a plain bodice and 3 pleated layers for the skirt out of 4 yards of fabric. And the 5th yard will be a little cropped bolero jacket. And yeah, I've got another light print that's mostly white that I'll do for the reversible side. So that is what I'm going to do with them. So yeah, I mean, I guess 3 of them are florals, which is kind of my usual, but the other ones are all interesting, so they will be interesting to work with. I'm really looking forward to the one that I'm going to overbead with green and aqua. That's going to be fabulous. Anyway, it is time for an update on the Tempest jacket. So here's a quick catch up if you didn't see the previous 2 episodes on this jacket. So in the first episode, I made the whole jacket out of this absolutely gorgeous Lesage style tweed. That just means it's got lots of different textures and widths and bits like that. And originally I was going to bead it like this, 1 bead per square sort of thing. But then as I was making the jacket, I was like, ooh, actually, maybe I'll do it in rows. And yeah, but also in Mediterranean waves of colours. So pick up all the colours from this, but see how there's white sections? They're sort of yarns and wools and laces threaded in there. I was going to do it cover those in beads. So then I got out my pirate treasure I have a very large bead collection. And part of the reason I make so many jackets is that I'm trying to use up my whole bead collection because, why not? So this is the Mediterranean villages that inspired the tweed. And but also I kind of wanted a tempest, storm, shipwreck sort of theme to be happening. So in the second video, I applied all these beads and I went through it stage by stage and sort of talked about my design process and the application, the actual doing process as well. So that was done, and then at the end of that video I showed it to you on a mannequin. I showed you all sides, and it is amazing. I particularly love the back and the slices of the shells. Oh my gosh, they're so difficult to sew on, but I just think they look so impactful. It's amazing. And it's like, considering how three-dimensional the beads are, it's actually a really well-fitted jacket. Like it will wear well. Like you'll be able to wear it and it won't have beads like popping out at odd angles or anything like that. So there's been a lot of thought into where the beads are and where the big ones are and things like that. But after I'd done that video, I was like, actually, I kind of want to redo a few on the front so that the colour wash matches across the whole of the front, because I love the way it matches across the whole of the back. And it's kind of jarring that it doesn't at the front. So I decided that instead of just going on and doing beading the rest of the jacket, I would unpick a couple of these ones, redo them, and use up my sewing time for this particular day doing that. So at the start of the sewing time, everything, like the jacket was half done with the beading, and by the end of my sewing time the jacket was half done with the beading. But it's much better. I like it. So I just took out one section at a time. So here I've taken out the blue ones and the really dark blue ones, and then I replaced them with orange so that the orange went across the whole piece. And next I'm going to take out some of these cream ones and I'm just going to bring that teal band right across that section there. I will still use all these beads, just in a different section. So here you go. I very carefully removed one part of it and I've left some part of it. And now I just had to cherry pick some of the teal ones, because there's a couple of sections I wanted to change into teal, so I had to sort of divide them. And here we go. Then I very carefully attach those ones. And so we've got 2 matching rows and 2 that don't match. Now, I wasn't sure about keeping the brown one, so that one was too difficult. So I decided to work on this bottom one. I don't like those ceramic beads at the front. So I took them out and I decided to replace them with these really heavy teal ones I have. That big love heart, I love it, but I never thought I'd be able to use it. Because sometimes you buy, if you go to a bead store, they have mixed bags of beads. They have like really cheap, small mixed bags of beads, but sometimes they just have like, when they buy expensive beads, they get a deal if they buy 50 or 100. And when they get down to only having one left, they often just make up a bead mix bag of really expensive beads, relatively, like they'll be half price because there was only one left. None of them match the others, but you end up with some really amazing beads. So that's why I've got some odd ones that don't match anything else. So anyway, I redid that one, and then the last one to go was the yellow section. I'm actually moving it up to the bust, so it will come back, but I thought I'd remove the yellow rather than the brown, which I wasn't sure about, but now that I've seen the finished jacket, well, it's not finished, it's still only half finished. But the brown sort of looks like a belt because it's at the natural waist, so it actually looks pretty awesome. And I got to use these beads. I swear, I never thought I would find a way to use these beads. I also, there's some like spaceship disc beads. So, yeah, I didn't change anything on the back. So I'm just showing you that the way to put these jackets on is to put them on the back and then fix the front. So yeah, here we go. Doesn't it look so much better? This is the before picture with, yeah, it was just a little bit jarring. I usually wear my jackets not like tightly closed like that. There's a little bit of a gap in between. So my black tee, I usually wear a black or a navy t-shirt under it. So there would have been a gap in between, but I don't know. It just looks so much more harmonious this way. I know it's supposed to be a shipwreck, but I've got these beads. They're actually plastic, but they look like splintered bits of wood in a diamond shape. If you saw my the one episode where I made a handbag, those sort of diamond shaped ones, yeah. And this is me trying to make the little flying saucer shaped glass beads move. They're just strung on a little row of 4 or 5 tiny bicone beads with a seed bead at the bottom, and I've got a couple of others in the second row. So I'm going to do more of them, but that's just to give you an idea of what's going to happen. And you can't really do that section of the beading until the whole of the base section is put in, because everything would just get knotted up. So yeah, I'm actually pretty happy with this. It's there's a spot where I could have put an extra bead, but I didn't. But yeah, so now I just have to work out, there's 3 more rows of white across the front, and of course I have to do the sleeves. I'm thinking with the sleeves I might just do 1 color per ring, per band of each sleeve, and sort of alternate. I think the 2 cuffs are matching. They're mirror images of each other. But I think from now on I'll do stagger the different colours. So, yeah, that is what I'm thinking. But firstly, I have to finish the front. And there's also 1 line on the back that needs to be done. So it is time to pick out, because that's where all the really expensive beads are going to go, in these remaining 3 rows on the sort of chest section of the front. So I want to use up all these glass blown ones. There's quite a lot of them, but I've divided them into 3 and I've put them in a colour wash order. So yeah, it's a bit complicated. I didn't want too many dot ones next to each other, so I've got the stripe ones in the middle and then more dots on the top. And then, yeah, those ones are amazing, but I think a lot of them will be hanging down. So, yeah. You can't really tell, but there's some brown in there as well. Because the section of the tweed that I'm putting them on is white, the brown sections in the glass blown beads will come into their own. So hopefully, anyway. So those are the 3 rows, and yeah, there's still a few of the big expensive ones left. So there's certain sections of the sleeves, sort of like the front bit, where you can do a 3-dimensional bead, and the big expensive ones. So yeah, the sleeves are going to be tricky, because obviously you don't want, where people can brush past you, you don't want anything fragile there. But I mean, the reason I did this jacket was to use up all the amazing, fragile, expensive beads. So this is amazing. Like, it's just like a decade's worth more of collecting beads, and then you're just using them all up in one thing. It's so decadent and incredibly difficult, because the more unique a bead is, the harder it is, just because of all the different shapes and everything, and those slices of shells. Oh my gosh, they're just so difficult to attach, but it's challenging in a good way. So yes, I'm looking forward to it. Those final 3 sections on the top there, and then the sleeves. Oh my gosh, so much work. But yeah, also very fun. I have managed to get in a tiny green section. It's just going to be right beside one shoulder. So it's not going to be too obvious, but it's going to, yeah, be like moss on the ship deck or something like that. A bit, you know, there wouldn't be moss because it's salty. Anyway, I don't know. I've decided to have green in there as well because life always finds a way, and to me that's what green is. Yeah, I just had to put that little bit of footage in there again. I am so thrilled that there's movement in this jacket, like there's little bits that move. I've also got these giant oval shaped sequins. They're from a sample bit of fabric, and I'm thinking of cutting each of those out. There's only like a dozen, and putting them in here so that when it's windy they sort of flutter in the wind. I'm thinking like on the back of the sleeves and maybe a line on the back of the jacket. I'm not sure. We will see. I know what I mean, but I'm just not articulating it well at all. It sounds tragic. I'll finish the top 3 rows and then we'll move on to the other sorts of beading. Okay, well, this is obviously another day, and I have used a lot of those beads. I had to move them off the felt onto the little beading tray, and here we go. Actually, you can't really see what's going on from far away. The thing about the beads around the neckline is that they're the ones that people see up close, so you can afford to use really detailed ones there. So that is the explanation from that, but I guess from far away it does look a bit less obvious, but I think you can still very clearly see the lines. And yeah, they're a little bit too neat and perhaps crowded, I guess. Not sure how I'm going to fit the sequins in. I think I might do little strings of beads, like a stack of 3 or 4 beads in between, just to even out the colour line. And yeah, but I really like it. It is so ridiculously luxe and over the top. But and now I'm showing you the dragonfly jacket on the right in the back. You can see how much the beads on the sleeves weigh down the sleeves. So that's why the sleeves look a bit sort of puffy and a bit too far out at the moment. They've got that double layer of structure underneath the tweed. So they really do need the weight of the beads before the sleeves will look like normal sleeves do. But all up, I'm liking it. I still have, as I said, the smaller beads to put through, and the vertical lines of that are going to make it look more like a shipwreck, and it's going to have shells and starfish and little splinters of wood that are supposed to represent the broken ship. So I know it doesn't look particularly shipwrecky at the moment, but hopefully it will. And I love all the colours. I absolutely love them. I've bought some felt in different colours. So I think what I'll do is make just an entire jacket of felt. Just cover it in rows and rows and rows of all my beads that I never thought I would use on anything else, but I bought them anyway. Oh, and that bead there, there's a bit of glass stuck inside, so I can't actually pass the needle right through it, unfortunately. So that's why there's only 2 of those particular type of beads there, not the 3 of them. I was very disappointed because that bead was a beautiful shape, but yeah, it's not a functional bead. It's more like just a little trinket thing. Anyway, the next step is to do the calves and all the way up the sleeves. So I had to reorganize my bead tray and put them in groups. I've got the Monet blue ones, and then I've got the gold blue ones, and then I've got a pile of flesh, sort of beige coloured ones, brown, aqua. These are like clear glass see-through aqua, and they are just going to make it look so Mediterranean ocean after a storm. Yeah, I really like those ones. So I think I'm going to try and do every second or third ring of the sleeve in the aqua, and we'll see how that goes. And also some shells. The shells are tricky on the sleeves because obviously you need to be able to bend your elbows, and also the sleeves are so round. But I think if I do them quite vertical rather than laying them horizontally and stitch them on that way, and this is me just showing you, you do 1 layer of beads, then you go back and do the second and third layer of beads to fill it in, so you don't do them all at once. And that way the weight is more balanced and the whole jacket ages better. This is the first time I've used a piece of felt on my workbench while I was beading, and it's so good because none of the beads roll off. It's awesome. Anyway, I'm going to go and do more of this and I may be back, maybe. So that is when I went and filmed this fabulous FABRiC haul that you just saw. And then I carefully put away all those fabrics and my books. So I didn't have a whole lot of sewing time left, but I did do a little bit more. So, oh, this is me showing you the beads that dangle down. They're so amazing. Anyway, I am so fascinated. I'm so boring when I wear one of my jackets for the first few times because I'm just like, just looking at the bits that are exciting to me. Anyway, so here we are. I'm working on the sleeves. So I think I showed you the aqua bit and I'd partially done the aqua band. Well, I finished the aqua band of transparent aqua beads and they are amazing. They are absolutely gorgeous. It's nighttime now, so that's why they don't look as ocean blue. They're more sort of a deeper blue at night. But yeah, and then I started on the next layer, which is the shells. Now I've got them all out and I'm just putting them into size order because it's going to be easier to, if the shorter ones are on the bottom part, because yeah, you obviously move the bottom half of your arms a lot more than you use move the top. Anyway, we'll let you see it once the whole thing is done, but obviously it's going to take a lot more time. And that is it for this video. I am just amazed by the amount of work I've done. There's still obviously a lot more work to go, but I am loving these colour bands washed in different colours. It doesn't look very shipwrecky to me at the moment, but hopefully it will at some point. Here's hoping. Anyway, thanks again for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed. And I hope you've been inspired to do some beading and or some sewing. Oh yeah, and this video is a FABRiC haul video. So obviously, dive into your fabric stash and find some fabrics that you've forgotten about. It's always fun rediscovering something and using it and like, oh, it's like practically new because I forgot I had it. Anyway, thanks again for watching and happy sewing.